Hi, I'm Movie Cat, and you're watching Fantastic Crap. Back in the 80s, the video stores were filled with many knockoffs of well-known popular movies. Many of these were Italian, and you could find loads of copies of such things as Jaws, Rambo, Terminator, Aliens, Dawn of the Dead, and so on. While this trend mainly died down for a while, it has evolved and been kept alive. A film company known as the Asylum has become well known for making what people call mockbusters, which is pretty much low-budget B-movie takes on current big studio films. Don't get me wrong, that is not all they make, because they do make more original films as well. But the mockbusters is what they are mainly known for. This brings us to this episode's movie, The Asylum's Sherlock Holmes. Although, more than likely this movie is made because of the big studio Sherlock films, with nods to other big movies thrown in, it still manages to be nothing like those movies. The term over the top is an understatement when using it to describe this movie. This has got to be one of the most insane and ridiculous Sherlock Holmes movies out there. You may be wondering just exactly how out there this movie could be. Well, let's dig deep into this gem of absurdity, shall we? So, get your smoking pipes out and your magnifying glasses ready, because the game is afoot. We then begin in a war-torn London, where an elderly Watson starts to reflect on one of his and Sherlock Holmes' greatest and most hidden adventures.
This is the second time I've watched London burn.
It's not safe by the windows.
We shall record the chronicle of his greatest and least known accomplishment.
Dr. Watson, who is he?
Wow! This actually is a pretty fun way to open the film, if I do say so myself. We then start the story with a ship sailing to London which gets attacked by some pissed off calamari. Even the cameraman is freaking out. Wait a minute. What was that in the background? Well, not only have they made it to land, but they have somehow traveled through time as well. We then open up with Sherlock Holmes interrupting Dr. Watson, who is trying to perform an autopsy.
What is it? It's 10 o'clock and our train for New Haven leaves in 20 minutes.
Train? What are you talking about?
Apparently, the great Sherlock Holmes doesn't know how to tell time. In order to speed things up so they can take a train for a case, Sherlock uses his powers of observation to quickly determine who the corpse is and how he died.
It's elementary. My initial impression came as I entered the room and was immediately bombarded by the distinct odour of fish. Cod, I think. Yes, certainly something in the Gadide family.
This stuff is going to get really, ridiculous, isn't it?
Makes my diagnosis of mercury poisoning very nearly indisputable.
Sometimes you make me wonder why I spent 7 years of medical school.
Knowing you, I suspect it had something to do with impressing a woman.
Well, yes.
Ah, these two actually have a bit of chemistry together so far. They then meet Inspector Lestrade, who explains to them that a ship has been mysteriously destroyed, but they found a survivor.
Oh, by the way, the Commissioner sends his regards to your brother, and we're all pleased to hear that his condition is improving.
I'm sorry?
Inspector, Mr. Giles has come around.
I wonder if that is going to come back into play later on. The survivor tells them that a monster attacked, and everyone thinks he has gone insane, except for Sherlock, who has found his story fascinating. They then go to the cliffside that the ship had crashed into. Along the way, Lestrade and Sherlock have a chat about Sherlock's brother.
Lestrade, you mentioned my brother earlier. To what exactly were you referring?
He contacted me recently. Wanted to catch up. Bit of a shock, that was. I mean, I don't think I've heard from him in...
7 years.
like he'd fallen off the face of the earth. Surely he contacted the family.
He was embarrassed by his weakened state.
Nothing wrong with that. Injured in the line of duty.
Injured? He was paralysed.
Bloody thieves. That man's a hero, if you ask me.
I don't think he sees it that way.
Welp, we are all thinking it, so I may as well come out and say it. The brother's the bad guy, isn't he? Way to make it obvious, movie. Sherlock then talks Watson into climbing down the cliff to examine the boat, while he stays up top where it's safe and enjoys a smoke on his pipe. Sherlock. He is kind of a dick. Watson barely makes it back. But he does make it back. He tells Holmes as he catches his breath that the ship looked empty and he saw nothing else.
Well, there's nothing more to see here. May be able to make the 7 o'clock train back to London.
It must really suck to be Dr. Watson. We then go elsewhere into the back streets of London, where a young man has acquired the services of a, street worker.
Never seen one before, Nug. It's not that fun.
She must have been correct. He had never seen a dinosaur before. How fortunate! She's already found her next customer. Meow. Also, I would like to point out that we have gone from a Kraken attack to a T-Rex eating people in the back alleys of London. Are we sure this isn't just an episode of Doctor Who?
I must say, Watson, that sometimes you behave just like a child.
And you behave just like an ass.
I must say, the back and forth dialogue between these two in this is pretty fun. They then read about attack in the newspaper and decide to take a stroll in the park and just happen to stumble upon a dinosaur footprint.
Hey guys, you wanna play hide and go seek?
You run, and I'll count to 30. Ready or not, here I come.
Starting to believe?
I found you! They escaped the dinosaur, and later Watson gets some new patients.
An Isadora Ivory. And this is my uncle.
Dr. Watson, it's very kind of you to see us.
My pleasure. Your hands cold as ice. Are you unwell?
No, she's quite well, Doctor. I am the patient. I need to secure my medications.
I think we just got introduced to the bad guys, didn't we? Way to keep making these things obvious, movie! Jeez! We then get the classic Holmes in the disguise bit.
Where did you serve?
Afghanistan, sir. 66th Berkshire. Lost me leg in asthma heights.
I was wounded myself in my one.
Stingy bastard.
Beg your pardon? Oh, Watson, I can still delude you.
You know, I understand what they were thinking when they made this. A Sherlock Holmes adventure is already pretty fun, so why not spice things up with a few dinosaurs and sea monsters? They encountered a dinosaur again, but this time Sherlock gets injured.
Come on.
Here. Should have taken you to the hospital.
One goes to hospital, one wishes to die.
That was a pretty nice line.
Don't be a child, Holmes.
Oh, don't be an ass!
Way to come full circle on that clever bit from earlier.
Watson, no. No, Watson. Watson. No! 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 You're an evil man!
Sorry, Holmes. Had to make sure there was no glass in the wound.
I was talking about the 71 eau de vie.
Oh.
I'm starting to think whoever wrote the dialogue for this knew what they were doing. The clues lead them to a factory, and they convince the man who runs it to give them the information they need that may help crack the case. But when he goes to get it, he has a drastic encounter.
Hello?
Man, this is a very stealthy T-Rex. Did it just fry him with a fireball? Is this King Koopa we're dealing with here? Also, we then get more ridiculous clues.
Holmes. Holmes! Why are we here?
I found a small stone, charnacite, embedded in Mr. Walton's remains. The only thing on him that remained uncharred, suggesting that it must have become attached to him as he was thrown onto the street. This castle is the only place in England that contains charnacite.
So, did the T-Rex put the stone in the man's pocket, then set him on fire and throw him out a window? That's plausible, I think. Yeah. So, the monsters were just robots? Oh, and speaking of robots, they find something else. Whoa, this really is a Doctor Who episode. The metal suit comes to life, and after a big fight scene, they are captured, and the bad guy reveals himself.
Hello, brother.
Dun, dun, dun! So, Sherlock Holmes' brother is Iron Man. This movie is random. Sherlock's brother then explains the soup helps him use his crippled body, and with his science he has decided to take revenge not only on London, but on the person who accidentally shot him and caused his injuries in the first place, Inspector Lestrade, whom he has also kidnapped. Sherlock is then shot, and Watson is tied up in some kind of death machine. No, not that death machine. That movie's for later.
He's awake.
All the better. Would you pass me that, my dear?
His assistant is a robot, too. Of course she is. The bad guy then puts a bomb in the robot assistant and sends her off to the Queen's castle, where she will blow herself up.
Don't you find it ironically fitting, Inspector, that a city whose symbol is a dragon should ultimately be destroyed by one?
Wait, what? First off, friggin' awesome! Secondly, I think this guy is overreacting just a little bit here. Not surprisingly, Sherlock comes back alive, showing that the bullet hit his smoking pipe and saves Watson. But how is Sherlock Holmes going to fight a giant robotic dragon? Okay, this movie has gone full awesome. While Sherlock flies off to face his dragon-riding brother, Watson takes a horse and rides out to stop the kamikaze robot before she blows up the Queen. So, let's do a little recap real fast, shall we? We start with a kraken attacking a ship, then to a T-Rex eating people in the back alleys of London. Sherlock's brother is a low-rent Iron Man who's going to destroy London using a giant robotic fire-breathing dragon, and Sherlock Holmes fights said dragon in a hot air balloon while Watson races on horseback to stop the bad guy's robot assistant from blowing up Parliament. This just may be the greatest movie I have ever spotlighted on here yet. We now get our Dragonverse hot air balloon fight. We then get the money shot of the movie. Here's a fun little thought. Imagine if this movie was made back in the 80s, and all the special effects was handled by Ray Harryhausen. Oh dear Lord! Fast forward to today, and that would probably be considered one of the greatest Sherlock Holmes movies ever made. Watson manages to stop the robot lady right before she makes it to her target, and the bad guy goes into a rage and races his dragon to go kill Watson. Oh, come on! That dragon clearly had the right of way. Sherlock is going to get one heck of a ticket. So, Sherlock manages to get a perfect shot off after just landing with a hot air balloon? Oh well, I cannot exactly call bullcrap on that. We just got done watching a robot dragon destroy London. So, the whole thing was covered up and Lazard took credit for stopping the assassination. Hey, wait a minute. How in the world do you cover up a giant friggin' dragon covering London with napalm? Anyway, that is the Asylum Sherlock Holmes, and I give it 6 hairballs out of 10. It's a crazy over-the-top B-movie that does not apologize for its lunacy, and it just tries to have fun, and good fun it is. And who out there wouldn't have a good time with a silly adventure with Sherlock Holmes fighting his evil robot suit-cladded brother who just wants to destroy London with a dragon and giant octopus? Well, that is elementary, my dear viewers. Only those with a big fat stick stuck right up their ass. In order to speed things up so that they can take a train. Okay, messed up. Okay. In order to speed things up. Okay, here we go again. In order to speed things up so that they can take a train for a quiche. Quiche? 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 I like quiche. While Sherlock flies off. Flow? Okay, I can't even say a simple word of flies? Flies off. Okay. Take 2. Watson manages to stop the Lobot. What's a Lobot? Is that like a robot midget? Watson manages to stop the robot lady right before he makes it to her target. She makes it to her, not he. He's not gonna blow up Parliament.